Welcome back to World Crisis Radio. Just wrapping up a few things now on this complex: Iran, Afghanistan, Pakistan, WikiLeaks, Assange, limited hangout, self-exposure, disinformation operations, inside, outside, in the manner of Ellsberg and Philip Agee in the past. One of the first times that anybody in the U.S. reading a mainstream paper ever heard of WikiLeaks was a praise article, a puff piece, in the Washington Post, 24 February 2007, by Cass Sunstein, the current information regulations czar in Barkey's White House. Cass Sunstein praised WikiLeaks as a gathering point and action vehicle for Chinese dissidents who founded WikiLeaks. This is the husband of Samantha Power of the International Crisis Group, ideas from Brzezinski, money from Soros. You've also got, some other loose ends on this that we can point to. The Wall Street Journal is one of the main vehicles for the war campaign. Tuesday, July 27th, they called it the AFPAC Papers. And interestingly, they say the real story of the WikiLeaks document dump is how closely these documents reflect official views of the Afghan war. Yes, not surprising, because the whole thing is designed to accelerate the evolution towards the new policy, which is you've got to get out of Afghanistan and concentrate your assets against the real enemies, which are, again, now much bigger and more dangerous places. Iran, big enough. Iran is 3 times bigger than Iraq in terms of population, 4 times bigger in area, and Pakistan is 2.5 times bigger than Iran. And here's the problem up to now, as we pointed out. The Obama policy, as enunciated in the West Point speech of December 2009, 6-7 months ago now, the problem with this, it was a Rube Goldberg thing, because it said, we're going after Al-Qaeda in Afghanistan, where they say Al-Qaeda is not. The U.S. government says Al-Qaeda is not there. Al-Qaeda, they say, is in Pakistan. So the obvious question is, well, if you want to attack Al-Qaeda and if they're in Pakistan, then you've got to attack them in Pakistan. The problem is that there is nuclear deterrence here, and that seems to be getting forgotten as these wonderful neocon thinkers and Brzezinskiites contend for what kind of aggression will rule the day. Afghanistan actually has nuclear weapons. And remember, you've got 3 paths. One is the U.S. If the U.S. sees U.S. forces that are encircled, in danger of being overrun, in Iran, near Iran, in Iraq, in Afghanistan, nuclear weapons will be the answer. So that's nuclear escalation by the U.S. The other one is if you have Hezbollah missiles raining into Israel, Iranian missiles. We've got the array of the Iranian missiles. They have 4 to 5 different kinds of medium-range ballistic missiles, even verging into IRBMs. So MRBMs and IRBMs. They've got the Fajr 3 that has 3 MIRVs on it. They've got the Shahab 3, which is a jazzed-up Scud. But the Shahab 3C can go 3,000 kilometers. It could actually reach far into European Russia if they got to that point. The Ghadr 110 is an MRBM 1,800 kilometers based on the Shahab 3, a new generation of that. You've got the Ashura, a 2-stage solid fuel rocket. You've got the Sajil 2 with a 2,000-kilometer range, 2-stage solid fuel. So Fajr, Shahab, Ghadr, Ashura, Sajil. If you rain those down on Israel and you begin hitting and destroying the airports, air bases of the Israeli Air Force, then the Israelis, defeated conventionally, may have to escalate to the nuclear level. And the third way, after U.S. escalation, Israeli escalation, is Pakistan. Anything you do with Pakistan is going to involve nuclear weapons. If you ever succeeded, if Brzezinski and those people succeed in playing a combination of Saudi Arabia and Pakistan against Iran, feasible and being tried, then you might have those Pakistani nukes actually being used against Iran. Nothing can be ruled out at this point. So that's the situation. Take a look at Tarpley.net, and you'll see. In the couple of minutes that we have left, the financial situation. We've got this guy Bullard of the St. Louis Fed, who now says that the U.S. is going into deflation. His paper is called The Seven Faces of Peril. And he says what we really ought to do is more quantitative easing, more hot money to inflate the U.S. economy. Now, that the hot money won't work. That just increases carry trade and weakens the currency. So that won't get you anywhere. You've got to look at that 5-point program that you can read at Tarpley.net. The European stress tests were concluded last week after our broadcast was taped, and we came out of this with essentially 7 banks in Europe. In Spain, it was 5 of them: the Caja Sur, the Banca Civica, the Diada, and the Unim, and the Espiga. Those were the 5 cajas, savings banks of Spain that turned out to be lacking in capital, the Hypo Real Estate Bank of Germany, and the ATE Bank of Greece. Now, this is all, of course, a public relations stunt. The Anglo-Americans tried to get a counterattack going to tear this down, but it's not clear to me whether the Anglo-Americans have gotten anywhere this week with that. I don't think they have. The euro right now is about $1.30. So the blitzkrieg against the euro that was supposed to bring down that currency with a panic crash in May has not worked. U.S. bonds are on their side at all-time highs. It's amazing, right? We've got all the reactionaries saying, oh, the U.S. is like Greece. Everybody's going to dump U.S. bonds. Well, that's not what the markets are telling us, you bozos. Look at those U.S. bonds. The yields are at an all-time low, and prices are at an all-time high. So what is the point of the reactionary line? The question now, of course, is the forces of depression, represented by 1.5 quadrillion of bankrupt-kited derivatives, a cancerous mass of toxic securities, so-called. These are going to come crashing down. Will they hit the pound or the dollar? I think it comes down to them. I don't think Japan. I don't think anybody else at this point. Europe could still, of course, get hit. And this reminds us now that if you close the Straits of Hormuz, whatever you do to wreck the world economy will be considerable. But in the narrow sense of what happens to the dollar, the $500 to $1,000 a barrel oil will destroy the world economy, but it will also save the dollar. And this is what can be happening if the plan goes through. So I think we've tried to paint a intelligence canvas here, which is how the WikiLeaks Assange stunt is now the leading edge, the fer de lance, if you will, of the effort to lift and shift out of Afghanistan to make Iran and or Pakistan, really Iran certainly, Pakistan maybe play them one against the other would, of course, be the dream scenario, and the U.S. stands by and laughs. This may not be feasible, or simply the U.S. bombing both of them. That would be the neocon, the stupidest and most suicidal version of this entire thing would be that. So this is what's going on. There is one good piece of news. As far as we can see, the maneuvers involving South Korea and the United States have ended, and there has been no war. So the DPRK didn't attack anybody after all, and we hope that stays the same way. So do get the word out concerning this, the fact that Obama is now the warmonger in chief, and he is at the head of a federal bureaucracy which is now moving towards an attack on Iran, quite possibly in the next 3 months, although maybe later. And above all, watch out in the dark of the moon. We'll see you next week, God willing, on World Crisis Radio.